All right, so get this. Elon Musk says a world of self-driving Teslas.
Whoa!
Yeah, right? Acting as robo-taxis is just around the corner.
Wow.
No more steering wheels, no more traffic jams. Just hop in and tell your car where to go.
Sounds like a dream.
Right. That's the vision he's painting in Tesla's latest earnings call, and we're diving deep into the transcript to see what's real and what's hype.
It's certainly a bold vision and one that raises a ton of questions for sure.
Exactly. So today we're breaking down the key takeaways from that Q3 2024 earnings call. What's really happening with Tesla's self-driving ambitions? How are they planning to pull off this robo-taxi revolution? And will we ever see that mythical $25,000 Tesla everyone's been waiting for?
Let's start with something that might surprise you.
Okay, I'm listening.
Tesla's making a profit.
Really?
Yeah.
In a market where most EV makers are struggling?
Even established car companies are having trouble turning a profit on their electric vehicles.
So what's Tesla's secret sauce?
Well, Musk attributes it to a couple of key factors. First, they're selling a ton of cars, setting record delivery numbers.
Oh, wow.
And second, their energy storage business is absolutely booming. People are snapping up power walls and megapacks like hotcakes.
So it's not just about the cars themselves, it's about building an entire ecosystem around electric vehicles. Clever, right?
Very clever. And speaking of clever, Musk is predicting 20% to 30% vehicle growth next year.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a huge jump, especially in a somewhat uncertain economic climate.
He's definitely not known for being shy about his ambitions.
Right.
But how does he plan to achieve that kind of growth?
Well, he's banking on a couple of things. First, he says more affordable models are coming, which will open up Tesla ownership to a wider market.
Okay, that makes sense.
And second, he believes that wider adoption of autonomous driving technology will be a major driver of growth.
Okay, so he's essentially saying forget affordable non-autonomous vehicles. The future is all about self-driving. But what about that $25,000 Tesla everyone's been talking about for years?
Well, get ready for a plot twist. Musk called a $25,000 non-autonomous Tesla pointless in their vision.
Seriously? He's ditching that whole plan.
It seems that way, yeah. He's doubling down on the idea that the future of transportation is autonomous.
Wow.
He's shifting the focus from the upfront price of the car to the cost per mile of using a robo-taxi service.
So instead of owning a cheap car, he wants us to subscribe to a fleet of self-driving Teslas.
Basically.
That's a pretty radical departure from the traditional car ownership model.
It certainly is, and it raises a lot of interesting questions.
Like what?
Well, like, how will cities adapt to a world filled with robo-taxis? What about the social implications of potentially putting millions of drivers out of work?
Yeah, those are big questions.
These are all things we'll need to grapple with as this technology continues to develop.
Okay, let's dive into the self-driving tech itself. How close is Tesla to actually achieving full autonomy?
Well, Musk claims that their full self-driving system, or FSD as they call it,
Right.
is on track to be safer than human drivers by Q2 2025.
That's a bold claim given all the scrutiny and skepticism surrounding self-driving technology.
Definitely, they're backing it up by pointing to their employee ride-hailing program in the Bay Area,
Okay.
where they're already using fully autonomous vehicles. Musk stressed that most people don't realize just how far along Tesla is with this technology. He's calling it a hidden revolution that's happening right under our noses.
But even if the technology is there, public perception is a huge hurdle.
Oh, for sure.
People are still hesitant to trust a car to drive itself.
Absolutely. Gaining public trust will be crucial for Tesla to succeed with this robo-taxi vision. They'll need to demonstrate not only that the technology works, but that it's safe and reliable.
All right, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Tesla's manufacturing process. Musk hinted at some pretty radical innovations coming with the Cybercab, their purpose-built robo-taxi.
He claims they'll achieve much faster production cycle times with this model. And here's a really interesting part.
Okay, what's that?
He believes that Tesla's factory technology will eventually be more valuable than their cars themselves.
Wow, that's a bold statement. What exactly is so special about their manufacturing process?
He didn't go into a lot of detail, but he described it as a revolution in vehicle manufacturing that emphasizes cycle time and efficiency.
Oh.
They're aiming to produce cars at a scale and speed that's never been seen before.
It sounds like they're trying to disrupt not just the cars themselves, but the entire way cars are made.
Exactly. And if they can truly achieve those faster production cycles, it could have a huge impact on the cost of their vehicles, making them even more accessible to a wider market.
That brings us to another area where Tesla has faced some criticism in the past, their service centers. owners haven't always been happy with the experience.
That's true. But it sounds like they're making a concerted effort to address those concerns. They're taking a page from their manufacturing playbook, emphasizing efficiency, streamlining, and preventative maintenance.
So instead of waiting weeks for a service appointment, you're picturing something more like a pit crew swarming your car and getting it back on the road in record time.
Something like that, yeah. They're building larger service centers with specialized lanes for different types of repairs. So it's less of a general garage and more of a targeted fix-it factory.
It sounds like they're trying to apply the same principles of speed and efficiency to their service operations as they do to their manufacturing.
Exactly. And they're also pushing remote diagnostics and software updates to fix problems before they even require a visit to the service center. It's all about minimizing downtime for the customer and making the ownership experience as seamless as possible.
All right, let's talk about a product that seems to be generating a lot of buzz in the trucking world, the Tesla Semi.
Demand is apparently ridiculous, according to Musk,
Wow.
even though they won't be ramping up production until 2026.
So even though it's still a few years away, trucking companies are already lining up to get their hands on these electric semis. Why the rush?
It seems that the trucking industry is eager to make the switch to electric.
Okay.
The Semi promises lower operating costs, a quieter and smoother ride for drivers, and of course, zero emissions.
And it doesn't hurt that Musk claims drivers actually prefer the Tesla Semi over traditional diesel trucks. I can imagine it's quite a difference in terms of driving experience.
Absolutely. And think about the potential ripple effects on the logistics industry. We could see a major shift towards cleaner, more efficient trucking, which could have huge implications for supply chains, delivery times, and even the cost of goods.
All right, before we move on to part two, I want to touch on one more topic that's been generating a lot of discussion. Tesla's relationship with XAI.
Ah, yes, Musk's other big venture, the one that's supposed to crack the code of artificial general intelligence.
There's been a lot of speculation about how these two companies will interact. Will they be rivals, collaborators, or something in between?
Musk addressed those concerns head-on in the earnings call. He clarified that XAI, with its focus on truth-seeking AI, is distinct from Tesla's more applied AI goals.
So they're both working on AI, but with different focuses and objectives.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Tesla's is focused on building AI that can solve specific problems like driving a car or optimizing a factory. XAI, on the other hand, is focused on understanding the fundamental nature of intelligence itself.
So it's not so much a competition as it is a division of labor.
That's a good way to put it. They may collaborate on specific challenges, but ultimately they have different goals and missions.
This has already been an incredibly fascinating look inside Tesla's plans for the future, and we've only just scratched the surface.
There's still so much more to unpack. In part two, we'll dive deeper into the logistics of this robo-taxi revolution, explore how Tesla is trying to improve its service experience, and examine the potential impact of the Tesla Semi on the trucking industry.
So stay tuned because the future of transportation is about to get a whole lot more interesting.
Definitely. Welcome back to our deep dive into Tesla's Q3 2024 earnings call. Last time we were discussing Musk's grand plans for a robo-taxi revolution, and I know you're eager to hear how he actually intends to make that happen.
You read my mind. It's one thing to say you're building self-driving taxis, but it's another thing entirely to actually deploy them on a large scale. What did the earnings call reveal about Tesla's rollout strategy?
Well, they didn't lay out all of the specifics, but we did get some intriguing hints. It seems they're considering a two-pronged approach.
Okay.
First, they'll likely deploy their own fleet of purpose-built robotaxis.
Makes sense.
Yeah, starting in areas with favorable regulations, think places like Texas and California, where they've already made progress with autonomous driving.
That makes sense. Start with a controlled rollout in friendly territory before going nationwide. But what about all the existing Tesla owners out there? Where do they fit into this robo-taxi picture?
That's where the second part of their strategy comes in. Once they've established a track record of safety and reliability with their own fleet, they plan to open up the platform to Tesla owners.
So you're telling me I could potentially turn my Tesla into a money-making machine while I'm not using it?
Yeah.
Just send it out to pick up passengers and rake in the cash.
That's the idea. It's like the Airbnb of transportation.
I like it.
Your car becomes an income-generating asset when it's not sitting in your driveway.
That's a pretty compelling value proposition. Suddenly, that hefty price tag on a Tesla doesn't seem quite so daunting. But let's be real, there are a lot of logistical and legal hurdles to overcome before this becomes a reality.
Absolutely. We're talking about a massive shift in how we think about transportation issues like insurance liability, data privacy, and even urban planning will need to be addressed.
Yeah.
How do cities adapt their infrastructure to accommodate a flood of driverless vehicles? These are complex questions that we're only beginning to grapple with.
It's almost overwhelming to think about all the potential implications. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be fascinating to watch how this all unfolds. Speaking of fascinating, let's talk about another area where Tesla is trying to revolutionize the automotive industry, their service centers. They've received their fair share of criticism over the years, but it sounds like they're taking steps to improve the customer experience.
They are. And it's interesting to see how they're applying their manufacturing philosophy to their service operations.
Yeah,
Remember all that talk about efficiency, speed, and streamlining?
I do.
They're bringing those same principles to their service centers.
So instead of those cramped waiting rooms and weeks-long delays, you're envisioning something more akin to a Formula One pit stop.
Exactly. They're building larger service centers with specialized lanes for different types of repairs.
Yeah.
Think of it as a well-oiled machine designed to get your car back on the road as quickly as possible.
That's music to any Tesla owner's ears. But it sounds like they're going beyond just bricks and mortar. They're also embracing technology to improve the service experience, right?
Absolutely. They're pushing remote diagnostics and over-the-air software updates to address issues before they even require a visit to the service center. It's all about minimizing downtime and making the ownership experience as seamless as possible.
It's like they're taking a page from the tech world where software updates are commonplace. Instead of bringing your car in for a recall, they simply push out a software patch that fixes the problem overnight. Pretty slick.
Very slick, and it highlights their commitment to constantly improving their vehicles even after they've left the factory. Now let's shift gears and talk about a product that has the potential to revolutionize another industry altogether, the Tesla Semi.
This is the electric big rig that's been generating a ton of buzz in the trucking world. What's the latest on that front?
Well, despite the fact that production isn't slated to ramp up until 2026, demand is already through the roof.
Seriously.
Musk described it as ridiculous, which, knowing him,
Yeah.
could be an understatement.
So even though it's still a few years out, trucking companies are practically begging Tesla to take their money. What's driving this frenzy?
It seems the trucking industry is realizing that the future is electric.
Okay.
The Tesla Semi offers a compelling package, lower operating costs, a smoother and quieter ride for drivers, and of course the elimination of those nasty diesel emissions.
Plus, there's the cool factor of driving a Tesla. I can imagine that even seasoned truck drivers wouldn't mind getting behind the wheel of one of these futuristic rigs.
You're probably right, and let's not forget the potential impact on the logistics industry. Imagine a world where goods are transported across the country in near silence with zero tailpipe emissions.
It's a pretty compelling vision and one that could have a ripple effect throughout the entire supply chain.
Yeah.
We're talking about cleaner, more efficient transportation, which could translate into faster delivery times and lower costs for consumers.
Exactly. The Tesla Semi is a great example of how their innovations can extend far beyond the realm of personal transportation.
Okay.
They're aiming to disrupt entire industries with their technology. But before we get too carried away with the future of trucking, let's circle back to a topic that we touched on briefly earlier, Tesla's full self-driving system.
Right, FSD Musk made some bold claims about its safety and capabilities, but there's still a lot of skepticism out there.
There is, and one of the big questions surrounding FSD is whether older Tesla models equipped with what they call Hardware 3 can truly handle full self-driving. Remember, newer models come with Hardware 4, which is significantly more powerful.
So is Tesla saying that my trusty old Model 3 might not be able to join the Robo-taxi revolution?
It's not quite that simple. They're prioritizing development on Hardware 4 and then trying to adapt those advancements to Hardware 3.
Right.
But they've acknowledged that there's a chance Hardware 3 might not be able to achieve the level of safety and reliability required for unsupervised FSD.
That's a bit of a bummer for those of us who bought into the Tesla ecosystem early on, but I guess it's inevitable that technology marches on and sometimes older hardware gets left behind.
It is, but to their credit, Tesla has pledged to offer free upgrades to those Hardware 3 owners if it turns out their cars can't handle full self-driving.
That's at least reassuring. It shows they're not completely abandoning their early adopters.
Right, and it highlights the tricky balance they're trying to strike between pushing the boundaries of technology and ensuring that all Tesla owners can benefit from those advancements. But let's not forget that FSD is just one piece of the AI puzzle at Tesla. They're leveraging AI in a multitude of ways, from factory automation to service optimization.
It's like AI is the invisible thread that connects all their various endeavors.
Exactly, and it's this mastery of AI that could ultimately give them a significant competitive advantage in the years to come. But we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive. from robo-taxi logistics to the nuances of FSD.
My brain is officially full. But I'm ready for more. What awaits us in the final part of our Tesla adventure?
In Part 3, we'll explore the relationship between Tesla and XAI in more depth, and we'll delve into the broader implications of Tesla's vision for the future of transportation technology and even society as a whole.
Sounds like things are about to get philosophical. I can't wait. Welcome back to the deep dive. We spent the last two parts unpacking Tesla's Q3 2024 earnings call, covering everything from record profits to their ambitious plans for a robo-taxi revolution. But now it's time to step back and look at the bigger picture. What does Tesla's trajectory tell us about the future of transportation technology and maybe even society itself?
It's a great question, and one that's worth pondering. Tesla is clearly betting big on a future where transportation is a service rather than a product.
Okay.
A world where autonomous vehicles are the norm and car ownership as we know it becomes a thing of the past.
It's definitely a radical departure from how we've traditionally thought about cars. I mean, for generations, owning a car has represented freedom, independence, even a status symbol. But what happens to those ideas in a world of robo-taxis?
That's a fascinating question, and one that raises all sorts of social and cultural considerations. Will people embrace a future where algorithms dictate their commutes and road trips?
Yeah.
Or will there always be a desire for that feeling of control, of being behind the wheel and choosing your own path?
It makes you wonder how this shift might impact the way cities are designed and how people live their lives. Will we even need sprawling suburbs if commuting becomes effortless and traffic jams become a distant memory?
It's certainly possible that the very fabric of urban life could be transformed. And then there's the question of what happens to all those jobs that are currently tied to driving. Truck drivers, taxi drivers, delivery drivers. These are millions of people whose livelihoods could be impacted by the rise of autonomous vehicles.
It's a reminder that technological advancements, even those with the potential to improve our lives, can also create unforeseen consequences. It's crucial that we think about these challenges and develop solutions that ensure everyone benefits from this transition.
Absolutely. We need to be proactive in addressing potential job displacement, ensuring that workers have access to retraining programs and opportunities in emerging fields.
But it's not just about jobs and urban planning. Tesla's approach to business is also quite intriguing. They're vertically integrated in a way that few other companies are, controlling everything from manufacturing to service to energy production.
It's a fascinating model. By controlling the entire ecosystem, they can streamline operations, ensure quality, and create a more seamless customer experience.
Right.
But there are also potential downsides to consider. Some argue that such tight control could stifle innovation and limit consumer choice in the long run.
It's a debate that's likely to continue as Tesla's influence grows. Speaking of influence, let's talk about artificial intelligence, the invisible force that seems to be driving so much of Tesla's innovation.
AI is indeed the cornerstone of their strategy. It's not just about self-driving cars. It's about optimizing factory operations, improving service efficiency, even developing humanoid robots like Optimus.
It's clear that Musk sees AI as the key to unlocking a future of abundance and progress. But with this level of reliance on AI, it's essential to consider the ethical implications. How do we ensure that AI is developed and deployed responsibly in a way that benefits humanity rather than harms it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that we as a society need to be grappling with. As AI becomes more sophisticated, we need to be mindful of potential biases, unintended consequences, and the potential for misuse.
It's a conversation that goes far beyond the walls of Tesla's factories or the lines of code in their AI systems. This is about the future of humanity and the role that technology will play in shaping it.
And that's precisely what makes this deep dive into Tesla so thought-provoking. They're not just building cars, they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and in doing so, they're forcing us to confront some fundamental questions about our future.
This has been an incredible journey, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
There's always more to explore, but for now I want to leave our listeners with one final provocative thought.
Okay.
What if everything we've discussed today is just the beginning? What if Tesla's vision is simply a stepping stone to something even more transformative?
I'm all ears. What are you envisioning?
Imagine a future where the lines between the physical and digital worlds blur even further, where AI becomes seamlessly integrated into our lives, anticipating our needs and augmenting our capabilities, where energy is abundant and sustainable, empowering not just our vehicles, but our entire civilization.
It sounds both exhilarating and a bit daunting.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of exploring these frontiers. We don't have all the answers, But the very act of asking these questions, of envisioning these possibilities, is what propels us forward.
This deep dive has been a fantastic reminder that the future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create collectively through our choices, our actions, and our imaginations.
Well said. And as we continue to explore the uncharted territories of technology and innovation, it's crucial that we engage in these conversations, that we challenge assumptions, and that we never stop asking, what if?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Tesla. We hope it sparked your curiosity, challenged your perspectives, and left you feeling inspired to imagine the possibilities that lie ahead.
And remember, the future is not predetermined. It's a canvas, waiting to be painted with our boldest ideas, our most audacious dreams, and our unwavering commitment to building a better world.